Everybody knew him and everybody liked him, and he was very, very intelligent. Mm-hmm. Some people say he was much more intelligent than Martin. The relationship between Fritz and Martin was very good, and Martin Heidegger came during his whole life back to Meßkirch and was a normal person, and that's why the people accept him.
Yes. Why such a radically simple and extraordinary philosopher should choose to accept a National Socialism which was quite plainly destructive in some way?
I don't think that he was National Socialism. I think he tried to influence the system. I think he thought that he can influence the system because he was very clever, and after 3 years he recognized, okay, I can't influence anything here. And then came the remove. He said, okay, yes, I leave it. Because he kicked out some professors who were social democratic professors, and he said, why?
We've been speaking about the uniqueness of Heidegger's philosophy and its genesis, but there are other spiritual leaders, if you wish, in Meßkirch. Who were these other people?
The other people were Abraham a Santa Clara, Dr. Konrad Gröber. Another one is Konradin Kreuzer. It was in the former time, long before Heidegger lived, the master from Meßkirch, a famous painter, and also actual in this time there are in the region around Meßkirch very famous people, and so it's a pool like a Geniewinkel, we call in German, a genius circle.
We are in the Church of St. Martin's, after whom the philosopher was named. And his father was a sexton here. And you may have heard the bells of the church, and the bell ringer himself was Martin Heidegger, who also helped his father in the many menial chores that a sexton has to do, such as cleaning the floors, such as doing very obvious simple tasks. And this is the very beautiful church of St. Martin's in Meßkirch, where Heidegger began his spiritual upbringing. We are now in the Meßkirch Castle, which was originally owned by the Fürstenberg family, who were the beer people, who sold it back to the state in 1961, and it's been extensively renovated. But part of it, the part that you now see, is the Heidegger Museum, established by Professor Fiegel of the University of Freiburg.
In this museum here, the city want to make it possible to remember Martin Heidegger and to look at his life, and we tried to make it as simple as possible, that non-philosophy people can look at it too, that it is for normal people, that they can look at him and say, oh, it was a great man. But it's very difficult, a great philosophy man, to make him easy. The city also has the Martin Heidegger Archiv, and the Martin Heidegger Stiftung is also located in Meßkirch, and they try to deal with Heidegger and to deal with Heidegger in Meßkirch. And there are a lot of good events in the year where we have special the philosophy personnel here, and so we try to make something with Heidegger and Meßkirch. That's our problem, to make him understandable for the normal people. It's nearly not possible. Meßkirch is very proud on him. Not everybody understands him, but we are proud on him. That's a special relationship.
It can be said that thoughtlessness is endemic to thought, and this is a tradition which goes back to Plato's time, when he was involved with the tyrants, much in the same way that Heidegger was involved with the National Socialist movement in the 1930s and beyond, as I mentioned to you. And this is the paradox, that this thoughtlessness derived perhaps from a certain kind of agrarian, rural simplicity, but accepted that the commercialization of civilization was its ultimate destruction. And this is which he wanted to counter, and he did in every conceivable way that he could, in his books, in his writings, none of which bear any characteristics or apparent characteristics to the others in terms of expression, except in terms of his essential question, which is, what is the meaning of being? I'm sitting here at the back of their house in Zeringen, in Freiburg, which they built in the 1990s, rather in 1915, 16, I think, and to which Elfriede Petri, his wife, his eventual wife, made a substantial contribution. Theologically and religiously speaking, it was a very controversial relationship that they had had, because she was quite strict Lutheran, and he a Catholic who abandoned the Catholic faith, as I think I might have mentioned, in 1919. Now, the Heideggers still live here. His granddaughter Gertrude lives here, so the tradition continues. But inevitably it's all built up since they built the place. Particularly this a section here, in which perhaps you can't see, but that was built for the man himself and his wife as he grew older, so that the family could take over here. But the essential thing about him is that he radically questioned the notion of subjectivity, of what it was to be human, and his apparent rejection of what you might think to be values wasn't a rejection at all. From his point of view, it was a rejuvenation of value, which is to say, values as things, objects to be imposed on people and determine human behavior, for him was fundamentally false. So, with his notion, going back to the Greeks, of what he called aletheia, which is to say revealing or revelation, that to truthfully live and live in a valuable way was to recognize the nature of what you are, rather than simply accept external demands or determinations which determine how you, cause how you become. And that, as I said before, is the cause of destruction. The notion that the human being is an egocentric individual, or a collection of them, in relation to a world which is objective, factual, propositional, and that relationships gives meaning to what is a fundamental historical mistake. He wanted to go back to what he thought to be the essentials. As I mentioned to you with Wittgenstein, when he said, that of which we cannot speak, we must be silent, he could not be silent about that which we could not speak. And he proceeded, therefore, in ways which were not scientific, but had to be metaphorical. In this sense, he turned to poetry as being the ultimate expression of human truth.